My life used to be one big roller coaster. Lots of ups and downs, lots of adrenaline and dopamine, lots of peak experiences, lots of drama, and yes, a lot of stories to tell, and of course, a lot of flashy social media posts, but also a lot of pain and suffering. And so in this video, I want to share with you my journey from being an excitement and stress addict to loving a calm and boring life. At the end, I'll also share my biggest learnings with you, and I'll give you some tips and advice if you're on a similar journey like me. Part 1. Life before. Now, for context, I had been a nomad since I was a teenager, which is when I left home in a small, boring town in southern Germany at the age of 15 and started to study and live in different countries. After I graduated university in 2009, I went traveling the world non-stop for about 13 years. First as a backpacker, then as a scuba dive instructor, and eventually as a location-independent entrepreneur/creator. And for years, my days were a mix of go, 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 work hard, parties and drinking, attending lots of events and retreats and gatherings, hopping on planes, anything that would allow me to not be alone or feel my pain too much. And on top of that, I was involuntarily initiated onto my journey of healing and self-exploration in 2012. And explore I did. I became an obsessive seeker, someone who was seeking relief from depression, loneliness, grief, anxious attachment, and codependency. It was an intense and wild phase of my life. As I was searching my notes app for relevant ideas on this topic, I found this diary entry from 2017. Here's what I wrote. I like the drama because my life without it is boring and it feels lonely. Still makes me a little bit sad to think about who I was back then and the struggles I had. I was hyping up my chosen life of adventure and peak experiences that was actually contributing to my struggles. The thing was, my system was used to the adrenaline and cortisol and dopamine from my lifestyle. I was used to chronic stress and drama, and so anything touching on boring, and I felt restless and anxious. I was essentially in a constant stress response and emotional activation for most of my life, and I was consciously seeking out high adrenaline environments and situations to feel alive and to feel like myself. Part 2. My life now. Over a period of several years, my life was slowly starting to take a 180-degree turn. And the emphasis here is on slow. True long-term regulation and healing takes time. Research says that our adrenals take about 1 to 2 years to fully recover from chronic stress and dysregulation. As I started truly healing, I became more and more aware of the toxic cycle that I kept myself in. I made more intentional decisions that were aligned with a regulated nervous system. For example, I chose to leave the nomadic life behind. But in this transition phase, I wasn't getting my constant spikes of adrenaline and cortisol, and so I would feel bored and restless. My body and I, we had to learn that boredom is actually healthy, and this was very unfamiliar for me. Eventually, I learned that it's a safe place to be in, that it's nice and peaceful to be bored and to live a boring life. And so I now live in a small town by the ocean. We moved here a bit more than a year ago, and I've never felt this grounded. On the outside, and if my younger self would look at me now, my life looks simple and boring. But on my inside, it feels wonderful and at ease, and I'm not interested to travel much anymore. I love being at home and having my daily routine. We got a dog last year, which was a big deal for me because it meant less independence, but surprisingly, it feels really good that way. I don't drink coffee anymore, I barely drink any alcohol, and I feel better than ever. I'm less anxious, less stressed, and overall more calm and centered. And I mean, it's all pretty average, really, and most days look the same, which would have been horrific for me even just 5 years ago or 10 years ago when my nervous system was still craving constant diversity and excitement. Part 3. My learnings and tips for you. As humans, we have not evolved to be in cycles of chronic stress and excitement that never ends. But we've been conditioned to be numb to the effects of that. Like a baseline of stress is active in our bodies, and it's our normal, right? When it really isn't physiologically. For example, big cities are actually nervous system dysregulators. The constant stimulation is really intense for our nervous systems. So think about your environment and where you live, the people you surround yourself with, and how you live your days. Media and society, it's almost like they want us to believe that excitement and stress 24/7 is completely normal, when it really isn't. The thing is that consuming too much exciting content on social media and television or Netflix subconsciously manipulates our beliefs and values. We learn that boredom is bad and to be avoided, and that a simple life isn't something to strive for. But the pursuit of an exciting life, it doesn't lead necessarily to happiness. It's really about staying true to our own values and figuring out what makes us feel joyful and happy and fulfilled on a deeper level. Another thing I learned is that life works in seasons. In our 20s and 30s, we have a lot of energy, and so of course those years are for exploration and world exploration and adventures. But for some of us, it goes beyond that. Many of us chase an exciting life because sitting still and being bored is too uncomfortable and not tolerable, which is mostly based in trauma and a dysregulated nervous system. And this was me for a long time. Healing means slowing down because our nervous systems and traumas heal in slowness. Slowing down and rest are important tools for managing stress and trauma as they help repair the adrenal glands, restore our nervous system, and allow our brain to relax. Our nervous system needs to be in a parasympathetic state to truly restore and recharge. And so, if that's the journey you're on, then my invitation would be to see if you can create more space, more ease in your life. Lasting transformation and healing often requires lifestyle changes. At times, uncomfortable ones, unexpected ones. For me, it took a very big shift, one that I could have never imagined 5 years ago. It took falling in love with the boring life. Making your life boring on purpose regulates your nervous system. And the destination really is the boring now, the place that seems so unsatisfying and painful when we're in dysregulation. Yeah, this is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to learn more about my 11-year trauma healing journey and what really helped me on my path, you might want to check out this video. And with this, see you on the boring side. Much love and see you soon.